everyone, it's Kara here from Boho Berry, and I am excited today because I'm bringing you a new review. This right here is the Leuchtturm Master Slim Notebook, and I was sent this notebook by the amazing folks over at gouletpens.com. I have been using, a lot of you have probably seen my black master Leuchtturm that I was using as my blog and business bullet journal. If you haven't, I'll link to that video up above here so you can check it out as well. However, this notebook is a little bit different. It's a little bit thinner. It doesn't have quite as many pages. This is the slim version of the master notebook. So as you can see, it's pretty thin. It's only 121 numbered pages, but this is a dot grid just like all the other notebooks that I like to use. And just for a size comparison, I'll show you my current bullet journal. This is the A5 Leuchtturm in a dot grid. Feature-wise, this notebook actually has all of the same features that all of the other Leuchtturm notebooks have. It's really great paper quality. It holds up really well to all the fountain pens that I've tested it with. Obviously, if you're going to have really wet writing pens or broader nibs, it might not hold up quite as well, but I'm going to show you, I did a little pen test in the back here as well, like I do with all of my notebooks. And then just to show you the size difference between this Master Slim and the regular Master, this is the regular Master. You'll see it's the same size paper, it's A4, but the thickness is out of this world different. The Master Slim is much thinner. This one has 200, I don't want to misquote myself. I want to say it's 249 pages. Let's double check. Yeah, the Master actually has 233 pages, and the Master Slim is actually 121 numbered pages. So let's open her up and take a peek inside. When you first open the notebook, you're going to see the typical Leuchtturm information materials and a little thank you for purchasing card. As with all of their notebooks, it has a little spot for your name and address here in the front. And then we have that funky blank page, and then we have our table of contents. The table of contents, or the index, is 3 pages. It's 1, 2, and 3. And then there's a blank page here to the left, and then you start in with the dot grid and page 1 on the right hand side. Now, one thing I will note is that Goulet actually sent me a couple of these, and this orange one only came with 1 bookmark. And I know that the newer notebooks that are being made actually come with 2 bookmarks. So I think this was from an older production run, but what I did do since I got 2 of these is I compared the paper from notebook to notebook, one with 1 bookmark and one with 2 bookmarks. And what I found is that they are nearly identical. So I will show you that. Of course, it's just a bunch of dot grid pages all the way to the end. As with all of the Leuchtturm notebooks, it comes with these awesome labels. These are for the front or back of your notebook, and then they've got these longer ones that go along the spine. So when it comes time to archive your notebook, you have these handy little stickers. And then, of course, you have a pocket in the back that's expandable. And what we've all been waiting for, I will show you the little pen test that I did in the back, like I do in every new notebook that I get. These are all of the pens that I use on a regular basis in my notebooks, so I thought that I would test all of them. So I started with my Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pens. I used the S, which is a 0.3 millimeter, and an F, which is a 0.5 millimeter. And then I went on with all my Staedtler Tri-Plus fine liners, my Tombow dual brush markers, and then these are all of my fountain pens that I had inked up at the time. You can see actually all of these did really well. There wasn't a whole lot of feathering or anything like that. Once we get down towards the bottom here, I was using some wetter inks and broader nibs. So you'll see when I flip over to the back how those fared. Also, one thing I started doing was I started drawing these guidelines to let myself know how many dots are along the vertical edge and the horizontal edge of my notebooks. I found that that comes really in handy when I'm testing out new spreads and I need to know where the middle of the page is, for example. I already know that it's 42 dots wide, then I can find the center of the page pretty easily. Alright, so now let's look on the back here, and you can see that some of the wetter inks and fountain pens definitely bled quite a bit through the paper. Otherwise, though, it all did really well. There's a little bit of ghosting, but no real bleed through. The biggest culprits, pen-wise, were actually my medium Metropolitan. That one was inked up with Diamine Marine. When you look on the back of the page, you can actually see that it did fine in the writing. It was when I really started to go over the ink over and over again. And then again towards the bottom of the page I used a Noodler's Ahab Flex, which if you know anything about those are super wet writers. Put down a lot of ink on the page, and the ink I used was J.R. Bond Emerald of Chivor. So very wet ink, very wet pen. That was my ultimate test to see how much this paper would bleed. I'm going to bring this up so that you can get a closer look. But for the most part, the notebook handled everything really well. So I would say if you're a fountain pen user and you're looking into this notebook, I would definitely say it's good for everyday writing. It's probably not so good for sketching and drawing. And then just to compare, I'm going to show you the other notebook that I was sent that had the 2 bookmarks. All right, so this is the other one, and I am actually using this notebook currently. So we'll just flip over to the back page so that I can show you the pen test on this one as well. And let's compare them side by side. So you can see I did the same exact pen test in each notebook. The order of my colors was a little bit different. However, looking at the back of the page, and I've got the pink one on the left-hand side here. So this is the one with the 2 bookmarks, and this is the one with 1 bookmark. They both handled pretty much identically. I just wanted you to be aware of that some notebooks are still the older versions and have just 1 bookmark. However, the paper quality is identical between the 2. The only difference is that one has an extra bookmark in it. All right, so that is it for the notebook itself. I thought what I would do now is kind of walk you through how I'm using this new Master Slim Leuchtturm. Now, if you haven't already checked out my blog and business bullet journal video, I highly recommend that you go check that out. I actually just switched from that thick black Master notebook into this Master Slim. I did that for a couple of reasons. One is that I really wasn't a fan of the black. 2 is that it was so thick and heavy that I found myself not wanting to use it. And if you ask me, there's no point in having a planner or a business planner or a blog planner if you are not going to use it. So I decided to switch over to this thinner Master Slim notebook, and I made a few modifications along the way, and I'm going to flip through and kind of show you what I did here. The first few pages is the index, and what I've decided to do is split the index in half. So on the left-hand side here, I'm going to index my monthly pages and also all of my collections. And then on the right-hand side is where I'm going to index my blog posts, YouTube videos, and things along those lines that I'm working on. After the index, I did the full year calendar again because I really liked that in my previous one. This time I added a little bit of color. After that, I have a stats tracker. This stats tracker was inspired by Kim at Tiny Ray of Sunshine's blog and business bullet journal, so definitely check that out. In my old blog and business bullet journal, I had income stats down here at the bottom, and really I didn't find myself using it a lot. I track all of my finances in an app called YNAB. It's short for You Need a Budget, and I really just didn't see the need to have that in my blog and business bullet journal. So I decided to turn this bottom half here into a featured on spread. So as the year goes on, I don't know if I'll fill this up or maybe I won't even have enough room. I don't know. But as the year goes on, if I'm featured on any websites or any videos, things along those lines, I'm going to put that in here. And then turning the page, this is my first monthly spread. I decided to get rid of those editorial calendar overviews altogether. Although I really liked it as an idea, I really just found myself not using it at all. My editorial calendar is something that I do online. I use an app called Trello. And I apologize for the sunlight coming through my window right now. But I use an app called Trello to manage my blog editorial calendar. If you're curious about that, I have written a blog post on it. You can check it out. I'll link that below. However, this is how I set up my monthly log now in my blog and business bullet journal. So I have just the traditional bullet journal style log for the month. And this is stuff that I log after the fact, except for upcoming events. So I might have a few events on here. Like you see, these are future events. but then for the day I usually log and write down if anything special or significant happened that day. And then I have my tasks for the month that are related to my blog and business and my goals for the month. And then I have a month in review. So this is where I'm going to log, I'm going to say how I made money this month, and I'm just going to kind of log how I did in those areas. I'll log my successes and my struggles. And then I thought this was kind of fun. I don't know, it just kind of popped into my head when I was trying to think of what I wanted to ask during the review process. And it just says, if I'm being 100% honest, ... So at the end of every month, I'll sit down here and kind of write a paragraph about honestly how I think my month went, what I could improve, what I could do better on. All right, after that, I have decided to keep my blog post ideas, my YouTube ideas, ideas for my Etsy shop. All of that is going to come here into my blog and business bullet journal. I was keeping those all in separate little notebooks, but what I found is that having everything separated like that just made me not look at any of it. So I am going to operate strictly out of 2 notebooks. I'm going to have my blog and business bullet journal and my regular everyday bullet journal. After my blog post ideas, I decided to kind of mind map all of the activities that I have to do related to my business on a monthly, weekly, and daily basis. I'm sure there's a lot more here that I haven't even thought of. However, this was just a quick brainstorm. I actually did this a couple of months ago in my regular bullet journal, and I wanted to move that in here so that I could look at it every week and kind of see what I need to be focusing on. And then after that, I just have blank pages, and I intend to put in more collections, lists, things along those lines related to my blog and business. I'm going to be redesigning my website soon, so I'm going to have a lot of that in here as well. And then every month as the new month comes along, I'm going to recreate this spread and just kind of track my progress in those ways. But yeah, so that is how I am using my Master Slim. I absolutely love it. I love that it's thin and light. And honestly, the 121 pages really doesn't bother me because this really is twice the size. The paper is twice the size as that of an A5 Leuchtturm. So you really are getting twice the amount of space. So in all honesty, you could think of it as 242 pages because you're just getting that much space. So it's in a thinner, lighter version than the regular Master. I absolutely love it. I can think of so many different applications of what you could do with these Master Slim notebooks. Anything related to design, mind mapping, anywhere where you just need a large surface to write and brainstorm on, I think these notebooks are excellent for. All right, that being said, I do have a little surprise for you all again this week. Earlier this week, I talked about Kim and I's official bullet journal notebook giveaway. That's going on both of our blogs this week. That actually ends on Monday, so if you haven't had a chance, you should definitely get over there. And as if that was not enough, the folks at Goulet Pens were so awesome. They agreed to send me 2 extra Master Slim Leuchtturm notebooks. These are both dot grid. They are the A4 size. One is the orange color and the other is the azure blue. And I'm going to be running a giveaway for these 2 notebooks. It's going to run on my blog between now and next Friday. And the winners of this giveaway are going to be announced on Friday, March 25th. So definitely stay tuned. That'll be next Friday. On my next video, I will announce the winners for these 2 Master Slim Leuchtturms. So I wish you the best of luck. Definitely head on over to my blog. Remember that I actually have 2 giveaways going on right now. One is for the official bullet journal notebook, and then the other is this new one for the 2 Leuchtturm Master Slim notebooks. So get on over there, get your entries in, and I will look forward to seeing you all on Monday. Bye!